Okay, good afternoon everyone. Madunggan ra ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you have classmates that are still not here in our meeting, kindly tell them that we are starting. Okay, so this would be an orientation for your subject or your course. Now this would be this would be collaborative in nature, meaning there would be two instructors for this course. Okay, so later that would be discussed by your co-faculty or my co-faculty. Okay, Mr. Charles Hans Bautista. So by the way, kailan naman siguro muna ako. Okay, I believe I was your instructor for programming 1. So, programming 2 will be just a continuation for what we have started in programming 1. Okay? So, it is expected that kung unsa tayo yung natun-an last, you need to retain that. Okay? It is expected that you retain that, and much better if na-improve pag ito ninyo, so that we will not be dili na to na i-discuss balik. Okay? We will be focusing more on the new topics. Dili na to na i-discuss balik nga no ing ana na, let's say how a condition works, how a loop works, since those would be the basics for our course. So I will be presenting to you the syllabus. Okay, so as what I've said, there will be two faculty in charge for this subject. So we'll be focusing our discussion on the course outcomes and the topics. Then later on, Sir Bautista would discuss on how your grades would be assessed. Okay, so nga na. Course outcomes. So first topic would be discussing on functions. Okay, why we need to use functions when we are creating programs. What are the benefits? Then our second course outcome would be more on to the advanced string manipulation. Okay, so in our programming 1, we dwell introductively, okay, or more on introduction lang sa string manipulation. We know what a string is, how we concatenate strings. So here we would be discussing on how we could take that in a step further. Okay, we are going to implement different functions, different ways of using string manipulation, especially in data parsing. Next is we would be having what we call file manipulation. Okay, so far when we were programming in our programming 1, okay, ang atoang data will only live all throughout the execution of our programs. So once our programs ends, katong data nga atong gipangbutang mawala na pod. So file manipulation, this enables us to have what we call data persistence. Para saan nang naatay, di ba, natay mga file, natay ma-open, consequently when we turn on our computer, so after we turn that off, then we turn that on, nara gihapon. Okay, so mga nambot pasabutan ng data persistence. Then finally, we have implement different appropriate means of multiple data manipulation. This pertains to multiple data storage. So far we have been using most of the time we have been using single valued variable. So now we would be using certain structures in programming that utilize multiple means of storing data, okay, or multiple data storage. So nga na. So let's just see some of the topics here. So kato okay, so we have functions. Okay, first 2 weeks. So that would be the functions. Then the next 2 weeks would be string. Then next would be file manipulation. So kanang functions, string manipulation, and file manipulation, that would be the coverage for our midterm. Okay? Then, if you've noticed na atay integration week, by the way, I hope this has been posted sa inyong classwork, but I have this has been posted in my classwork. So, natay integration week. So, if you'll notice, bago na siya. Supposedly, it is a sort of academic break, meaning in that week dili maghatag daw og mga deliverables. Okay, so that's that. If you're wondering what is what an integration week is, so after that, then we'll continue with kadtong ato. Actually, kaning CO4 diha, that would be the main topic for the final week. Okay, but daghan na siya og topics. Okay, we'll be talking about list, we'll be talking about dictionary, we'll be talking about tuples. Okay, so those are different means of storing data, okay, or multiple data. So kana before we go on, or before I give the microphone to Sir Bautista, I would like to we would like to implement a form of etiquette, okay, or how you are expected to behave in this class. So when you're going to first, before that, ang pinakauna gyud is you need to i-change ninyo na inyong profile pic. Okay, it should be in a way nga makita inyong nawong frontal, okay, then kanang neutral, okay, or kanang makita inyo nawong in a presentable manner. Okay, ayaw ng mga anime characters, ayaw ng mga sitawagan uban ana nga images nga dili kamo, so that even though we are in an online environment, at least makailata in a way nga ma-distinguish nato kung kinsa, especially if let's say puhon mag face to face na, then mag-adto mo sa school. Okay, so we get to acknowledge you nga ikaw gyud na, okay, kay dili kay mangutana pa mi kung kinsa. So okay nga na, so whenever you're going to post comment, okay, or when you're going to ask questions, okay, of course be formal. Don't use kanang mga text speech bitaw, kanang mga wala ang ubang characters. Let's say if you want to say thanks, T and X lang. Okay, as much as possible write in a correct spelling and in correct grammar. Okay, and expected nga English para maanad na pud mo on how to formally write and formulate questions. So nga na, then sa pa man, of course, academic integrity, expected nga dili mo mag practice o cheating methods. Okay, so sa paman, anyway, I'm not telling gaing ana mo, but siguro given that we are in this situation, dili na mo na gina-encourage. Okay? Siguro makaingon mo nga sa programming 1, lenient ra kay ko. Okay? But now that we are dealing with an advancement of your subject, okay? Programming 2. So kana medyo strict na gid mi ana. Okay? Medyo we will really implement methods nga if ma-notice na mo nga blatant na gid inyong cheating, okay? So kana we might put actions against that. So I'll be giving the microphone to Sir Bautista. He would be discussing more on the grading system and how this collaborative nga teaching work. Sir?
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, madungan na ba ko?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, by the way, I'm Mr. Charles Hans B. Bautista. Maybe some of you here already know me since I am one of the first year advisors and enrollment officers, and maybe one of you here during the first semester enrollment of entertain ako ang interview, so maybe kailangan ba sa inyo. Pista, I'll be handling this course together with Mr. Pasok. So I'm handling sections A and C. This is a collaborative or team teaching or collaborative teaching. You'll be having the same lecture, same exams, probably the same programming exercises and programming assignments. Okay, to continue with the syllabus, I'm tasked to give you the grading system. So since this is a course that requires a laboratory, the grade will be calculated separately from the lecture and the laboratory. So this is a very simple class grading system, no? For the lecture, we only have two categories: class standing and term exam. Now, this is a very flexible grading system. It's because the class standing, basically, this would involve only quizzes and assignments. Okay, let's see, 50% of your lecture grade, and probably kung napamilain idugang ni Mr. Pasok, say for example, you'll be conducting an online class. Siguro will have a separate grade which will still be part of the class standing. Siguro butangan na mag 10% na online class sessions attendance, pwede na siya, but this would only sum up to 50%. Now for the term exam, it will also be 50%. So sa lecture, it's a total of 100%. So basically again, quizzes and assignments yun ang power sa class standing. So kung nalang ni madugang na category, it will be under class standing again from attendance. Dili lang yapon sa mga. Now for the laboratory, for now, we've decided with Mr. Pasok that your laboratory grade will only comprise laboratory exercises or programming assignments. Okay, this will be 100% of your laboratory grade. Just in case maka-decide ni Mr. Pasok na maghatag o project, then dili na mo kuhaon sa laboratory, just in case. But for now, if this is the category na criteria nga mong gihatag lang sa laboratory na grade, so all you have to do is submit all the laboratory exercises and programming assignments, and that will only comprise your laboratory, so 100%. So kabalo naman mo sa ato ang grading system na ato ang midterm grade will be 1/3 lab, okay, 1/3 lab and 2/3 select. Okay, your final term grade will also be 1/3 lab of the final term and 2/3 select of the final term, and your final grade would be 1/3 of the midterm grade and 2/3 of the final term grade. So this will be your final grade. So I think if your assignments or quizzes are complete, if you have taken the term exam and you submitted all the programming assignments, there's no reason for you not to pass the subject. Okay, so that will be all for the grading system. If na mo comments, then I will entertain comments later. Now, as Mr. Pasok mentioned a while ago, that this is a team teaching. Our teaching strategy is team teaching. So since we cannot have an online session always, dili ta maka siguro may panahon nga dili mi maka-attend or maka-schedule og online lecture. Ang among na-arrange ni Mr. Pasok is that we'll be uploading recorded video lectures for the different topics. Okay, so recorded video lecture for different topics will be, so basin matingala mo among bahinon ni Mr. Pasok ang lecture, so bisan si Mr. Paso handle lang sa block B or section B, it will be posted all throughout these sections. So ako pong mga recorded lecture will be for all the three sections. Okay? And for a session that requires kung natay kailangan online session yun, I have checked your schedule, all of the three sections, block A, block C, and block B. All of you are available during this time, MWF 3 to 4. Okay? So I have here, I have printed your section block schedule. So bakante mo tanan, if you're to check your schedule, all the sections, bakante ko sa tanan MWF 3 to 4. Now if there's a need for us to have an online meeting, we'll be utilizing para dili nato maigo ang inyong other schedule and other classes, especially the minors. If there's a need for us to conduct an online session, online class, then we'll be scheduling it any day from MWF 3 to 4. So nga ana lang ato ang buhaton, no? Kung kailangan, kung makita na mo nga galisod ng estudyante based on their performance, then probably we can schedule an online session, or you can also utilize this as your pwede ta mag-consultation kani kay bakante man mo ani. I don't know with Mr. Pasok if he is vacant during this time, but sa all of the three sections you are available based on your block scheduling. Okay? Again, di tapin mi mag-meet ani. We'll be scheduling siguro, we'll be updating the Google Classroom if mag-post lang mi dito if mag-conduct ta og online class. Now, since one feature of Google Classroom ang mag-class, we'll try to find a way nga maka-record good sa inyong Google Classroom just in case, para na-reference especially those students na dili po maka-attend during the online session. But again, kung katong mga estudyante nga maka-appeal sa online session, we will be given incentives kay mangita magpaagi nga maka-join sa online session. Scheduled na siya, dili na siya like on the dire-diretso nga mag-schedule ta MWF 3 to 4, dili po na sa every week, siguro once or daily. Basta kay kung siguro na vacant mo tanan aning 3 to 4 nga MWF. So ato na utilize para walay conflict with the other classes ni. Okay? So I think that would be all on my part to discuss the grading system, the teaching strategy for this course. I'll give back the microphone to, or the class to Mr. Pasa. Matt?
Okay, thank you, Sir Charles. So, siguro marag naputol to ganihan, no? Ang yang giingon. What he meant earlier was the Google Meet no longer allows recording. Okay, so mato yung giingon nga mangitag pa maagi. So again, hopefully every time we have our online class section na amo, okay, aside sa incentive nga mahatag sa inyo ha, lahi ra pod yun if naadiha ura-urada ang instructor na sa topic nga ginadiscuss and makapangutana mo. And in relation to questions, okay, the floor is now open for some concerns, questions, or comments with regards to the subject, with regards to us as our instructors, or anything relating the subject. So before you ask, please raise your hand, okay? Then wait for you to be acknowledged, then ay mo tingog. Okay? So kana. So who'd like to ask a question? Okay? Ani Joseph Kabahog. So, sa atin mo, what will be your question? Paki-unmute if you are talking. Or do you want to do ask? Kani. Okay, so if you could not voice out your question, you could chat on the in-call messages. Okay, so Python ra gihapon. So we have decided nga Python lang gihapon. Supposedly, just so you know, programming 1 was originally used or it originally used Java. But I decided to make it Python kay medyo masayon siya. Okay, masayon siya in a way nga diretso-diretso ang programming, wala kayo syntax. But anyway, to answer your question, Python ra gihapon ang language. Okay? So, thank you for that question. Mr. Juben, Sir Charles, do you have a kuan?
Okay, in addition to what Mr. Pasok says, para natay continuity sa ato ang programming kay it's very difficult on your part nga magsugod ta mag-learn na pud tag lahi nga programming language, which is magbalik ta sa basic. So inyong mahibaw-an na puro taphaw sa different programming language. So para na continuity, we've decided, both of us, the department also decided nga kung unsay nasugdan nga programming, we'll continue that para ma-learn ninyo ang tanan pasikot-sikot sa programming, particularly on that programming language. Now, kung tanawon ninyo ang list of programming language, nagdahan kaayo na atong gusto matudlo sa estudyante is the concept of programming, the idea of programming, kana man kung syntax later on, if you're going to migrate from one to programming language to another programming language, kung kabalo na mong program sa isa, then there's no problem for you to migrate to other programming language. All you have to do is to learn the syntax. So ang idea gid sa programming, dapat ma-learn niyo up to programming, computer programming 3. So expect that in computer programming 3, you'll also be using Python as the programming language, but the idea is na po siya because it covers object-oriented programming. So inana ang decidan sa department at the same time na-decide ni Mr. Pasok will be handling this course.
Okay, thank you, sir. Juben Domli Balandra. So, what would be your question? Yes, there would be materials that would be provided. So kanang GMeet, okay? Kanang GMeet mag-GMeet session rata if naay mga immediate concerns nga ideally naa mo present pod. Okay, let's say naa mo questions nga medyo kaangit siya, medyo significant in a way nga daghagwa kasabot. So possibly we will have a live session for that nga diha day nato tubagon. So tabangan na mog tubag, okay, ni Sir Bautista ninyo. And expect nga na atay mga materials, of course, kanang as much as possible kung naay GMeet, naay recording. Actually naay recording ani karon, but I've yet to see if unsay output ani, if okay ra ba di siya ma-post later sa YouTube. So definitely naay mga recorded lecture videos. So similar atong sa ato ang programming 1, di ba? So normally by chapter na siya. So bulto nga recording para diretso dito na ninyo tan-awon tanan topics when it comes to that chapter. Okay? But it doesn't mean that you only need to rely on those lecture videos, lecture materials. Okay? Mas maayo nga i-supplement ninyo ang inyong knowledge pod. Okay? Meaning, if naay kanang, let's say, if you are curious in a way nga unsa pay other implementation ana, remembering it still is the scope of the subject, so pwede mo mag-research, okay, or magita og ubang material, but to make it, to formally have a set of materials nga basihan nato when it comes sa mga programming nga mga activities, programming nga exercises, sa mga quizzes. Ang main nga basihan gyud is ang lecture videos o lecture materials nga among ihatag. Okay? Para naatay uniformity, naatay kanang main nga basihan. Kay basig mo argue mo nga kana inyong gigamit nga solution but wala pa din nato nagi-discuss ana nga topic in which ang expected unta ana nga output sa inyong program while we are still in that topic, okay, is mao inyong gamiton. So nga na. So I hope that answers your question. Other questions? By the way, ang attendance we will be posting later. So other questions or concerns? By the way, ideally by now naa gyud mo device nga maka-program in Python. Okay? If possible, it should be a computer or a laptop. So nga na nga level. Kay mao magud na ang murag natural environment when you are programming in Python. But in case wala mo ing ana nga device, at least you need to have a device, let's say a smartphone or a tablet. Mas okay unta if tablet pod kay dako ang screen nga kuan maka I believe naghatag naman ko sa inyo og murag online resources on where to program, di ba? Katong onlinepython.com. And you could even find programs that enables you or apps that enables you to program in Python sa mobile. Okay, kanang Android o I don't know if nasa iOS but Android man akong cellphone. So you could search on PyDroid. So nana siya. I'll be writing the kana naay ingana nga app in which dili ang disadvantage mo gud atong mag-compile mo or mag-interpret mo online kay dependent na siya sa connectivity ninyo. Kay basi makaingon mo nag-error inyong code, ang ending di ay is naglagra inyong internet or somehow sa side sa katong online interpreter na problema dito. Okay? So mas okay if maka-install mo sa Android nga side sa mga mobile devices, you could install PyDroid kay kana murag kuan na gid siya, mura siya og it's like a Python IDE sa inyong mobile sa inyong Android device. So other questions? Sige na para kuan we get to sort things out sa sugod kay basig na amoy mga concerns tunga-tunga then ma-disrupt ang flow sa tuang sa tuang discussion or sa tuang methods on teaching. So mapangandaman na nato. So other concerns, questions or comments?
Wala na, sir.
Basin apo iban sa inyo maulaw lang, no? Basin maulang mo dong ganung tingog. Your 86 in the Google Meet session. So now, for the attendance link, napo dito nga part wherein you can ask your questions, comments, or suggestions for this course. So na may gibutang dito part sa attendance would be you can add your comments and then maybe if naay magsulat dito og comments or suggestions, then can address that later on. Okay? And by the way, in addition to ang ano to ang class ng mga departments decided for your first tomorrow or within the weekend, we'll be creating one activity that covers all the topics in computer programming 1, summarizes all the topics. Isang activity, probably I'll give you 1 week or 2 weeks work on that to check your skills, no, your programming skills, what you have learned in computer programming 1. So it's some sort of a review for okay, madunggan pa ko. Nawala ang internet, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so motong na-decide ni Mr. Pasok na your first lab activity would be a summary of what you have learned in computer programming 1. Again, reminders, sa katong dili lang mo raise the questions karong time for the attendance. You can have your comments, suggestions, and questions later. And we'll be addressing that on the next online session.
Okay, so by the way, the attendance ako anong gi-post ang link sa ato ang chat, sa ato diri nga chat. So kindly fill that out using your IE.
How do you do that?
Then kana. Okay, don't forget to write your name, properly fill out your the information. So na last name diha, middle, first name, middle name, then comments. Okay, comments, suggestions, and concerns na pod diha. Again, this would be an attendance for you to for this orientation. So sama huling hirit, any questions or concerns? So again, this would be a collaborative teaching. So kung naamoy pangutana, let's say sa ana nga lecture video, okay, we would be identifying ourselves when we have our lecture video para ma-address po ninyo. Okay, but regardless, pwede po ninyo i-address bisag kinsa sa mua kung naamoy pangutana. Constant ba sir ang schedule sa class? So as what I have mentioned earlier, okay, dili. Okay? Dili siya constant in a way nga sa every MWF na gyud ang 3 to 4 nga klase. Okay? So but if naay if ana nga time, okay, bantay-bantay na lang pod mo. Kay basig na ay mga posting nga magkuan we will have an online class section ana.
In addition, no, so out of 4 topics, 4 major topics, no?
4 course outcomes ang topic ana kay unom tanan, unom ka chapter.
Okay, so out of the 6 topics, probably maka-identify man ni unsa nga mga topics ang lisod or kailangan din og mga aside from the lecture video nga pang-send sa Google Classroom. Probably maka-identify mi og mga topics wherein makahuna-una namin nga maglisod ang estudyante or maglisod og comprehend sa mga siguro sa mga topics. So that's the time among i-utilize ng MWF 3 to 4. So again, dili na sa every week, Monday to Friday. If you notice, ang ato ang lecture per week is supposed to be 2 hours lang, kay 2 units naman ni siya. So kanang MWF 3 to 4, 3 hours na siya. So nangita lang mig paagi daan na common time sa tulo ka section nga bakante mo para atong gamiton later on if in case needed din siya mag-online session. Okay? Na-address ba ang question ni mo, Mr. Irada? And then we'll be posting also, kung magkailangan man galing, you check your Google Classroom from time to time, kay mag-post po dito mag-online session ba kay maybe some of you ay ara magpal kasi on your part pod nga magsige og para maka-prepare pod mo sa ato ang online class. So siguro day before mag-post me or 2 days before mag-post me for a scheduled online session.
Okay,
Back
so
to you, Mer.
okay, so other questions or concerns? Moto, no? Again, the classes kanang katong online classes katong live mo na pasabi kanang GMeet kanang live nato nga session, okay, in which pwede ta magtinubagay. It is expected yung kanang mga questions ninyo nga naglisod mo i-brought out ninyo na during sa live session kay para ma-answera nato or matabangan nato at least kung unsa na nga dilemma nga to ang inyong ginagian. Okay, so kana expect, okay, expect yun ninyo is natay mga lecture videos, okay, and lecture materials nga i-provide. Lecture materials, be it presentation, nga na. Ang lecture videos na yon, it's like a way of explaining katong naa sa lecture materials. Okay? Then, if maglisod pag yun dayon, okay, let's say namoy wala na sabtan or we could see that the topic requires, let's say, murag additional pag yun nga discussion, we might be uploading additional videos, let's say examples for that, or ayan na dayon may mag online class session and kanang time slot sa atong online class session mao day ng MWF. And whenever we decided to have an online session, we will make it in a way nga we will announce that at least a day before. Okay, so nga na. So other questions or concerns? So we have talked about the topics, we have talked about the grading system, we have somehow talked about the programming language, and ang dili na siguro nato i-discuss ang kuan, di ba? Di na na i-discuss ang how to install Python, yung na-install na kuan naman to na dapat. So by now, if in case nakalimot-limot na mo sa mga topic, now is the best time this week or while you wait for the lecture materials to be posted, it would be best if to review. And as what have been mentioned by Sir Bautista earlier, we will be posting somewhat like a pre-assessment activity, checking if na-retain ba to ninyo ang inyong knowledge sa programming 1. Okay, it's very important nga dili mawala ang inyong foundation ani sa itong na establish sa programming 1. At least dili mawala bagkus kinahanglan pag yun madungagan. Okay? Kay mura na ang as what I've mentioned during our first topic sa programming 1, mura na math bitaw nga dili ninyo nakalimtan ang basic nga 1 plus 1, 1 minus 1 may nga mga arithmetic nato kay mo apply ra gihapon na as we progress with programming 2, programming 3 and other programming languages. Kay mao man na ang foundation sa ito ang course or sa inyong program, sa IT nga program nga tanan at least kabalog yun mo program at its foundation. Okay? So katong programming 1 na to dapat ma-retain yun na siya all throughout your IT years. Okay? So if you have no more questions, unsa pa man napay pangutana? By the way, ang ato ang attendance is already posted sa chat. Okay, fill that out. Don't forget to fill that out using your IE. So if you have questions nga di ninyo ma-raise karon, please fill that out in the comment on the field sa ato ang Google form. So other concerns, Sir Bautista, before we end this GMeet session?
Wala naman. So again, in addition lang again, para among ginabuhat ni Mr. Pasok para na uniformity with the other sections, kaya basin makaingon ang uban nga sayon na kay mohatag si Sir Bautista, si Sir Pasok isud kay mohatag, or the other way around, sayon na kay mohatag si Sir Pasok like isud kang Mr. Bautista. So as much as possible, we'll have to create a uniform or the same problem, same exam. So departmentalized siya since we only have 3 sections of programming And para pod na may baseline sa kinsa gitong perform gyud sa all throughout the sections and na mga students, and para makita gyud nato kung unsa ang capability sa students sa tanang sections. And by the way, since kami ang nag-enroll last time sa paano sa mga first year, maybe some of you natingala nga block A ko sa first semester, block B ko sa nahimo kong block C sa second semester. So ang among gibuhat ana class is that we have to divide equally. Kay last time ang god ang block C gamay ra ang nadasok tan sa block A and block B. Now, so sa department of concern, is instructed by our department chairperson, as much as possible, almost equal ang distribution sa all throughout the 3 sections. So ayaw mo katingala nga nung na block A mo, nung nga transfer mo, among gibasihan ato class is based on your answer, based on your answer sa katong your mga mag-enroll mo your saan ka sa kamat katong mura og your itong Google form nga you fill up before the enrollment. So ang sequence adto mo among gi-follow. So and then we equally distributed it throughout the 3 sections. I think that would be all. Kung wala na pangutana, then we can end our class orientation for ITCC 44 Computer Programming 2.
Okay, so thank you for
You
coming.
again, Mer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming and attending this class. But before you go, please fill out the attendance. Okay? So we will be providing incentives kay nang kamot pod mo nga ni apil ani. Okay? So I will be ending the GMeet now. So please, maghatag lang kog mga let's say 5 minutes for you to fill out for you to check the Google the in-call messages or sa chat dere. Okay, I'll be ending this, then you'll no longer have access to this Meet. Okay? So I'll be pasting again the attendance.
5 minutes for the attendance. So katong igo lang pasahan sa uban, kasi inyo ron kopyahan ang link and send it to your classmates na wala jud ni attender. Will be di na sila credit nga present for today's session. So 5 minutes mer. And then i-disable na lang dayon tong sa accept responses.
Okay? So we will be leaving. So if you are done with this, you're free to leave. So nga na. So thank you for coming. Then have a safe weekend or no, safe remaining days ahead.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.